House Speaker Thom Tillis here to talk about the GOP budget bill. Yes, it's a GOP budget bill. How close is it to achieving exactly what you wanted to achieve?
We got our spending in line with our revenues. We did our very best to emphasize teacher and classroom funding. We have implemented a number of provisions, and we have parallel bills running to provide flexibility to make it easier for the people on the ground to deal with the lower spending levels. I'm extraordinarily proud of it. I'm proud of the fact that we also had some bipartisan support for it. I think that bodes well. We're looking forward to working with the Senate.
What do you make of the Democratic argument that 8 to 18,000, 20 to 30,000 people are going to lose their jobs, particularly teachers and lunch ladies and school janitors and all that?
Well, I've said this before. They need to go back and study fifth grade math, and in part they have to study business, because the reality is a lot of the positions we're talking about are vacant today. One of the things we assessed is if they've been vacant for more than 100 days, are they really core? Are they needed or absolutely core? So that's some of it. It's getting rid of jobs that are literally not filled today. So how can you put somebody out of work who isn't at work? Then when you take a look at other things like June, after the school year is over, there will be 5,000 to 6,000 people retire. If you don't fill jobs that are freed up by retirement, have you put somebody out of work when they're going on pension? When you adjust all of that, there's no doubt that there will be hundreds of jobs that will actually be eliminated, but not tens of thousands. And when you look at the reality that state personnel practices allow those folks to look at opportunities that come up when other jobs get vacated that they could actually bid on, and when all things are tied, it can go to that state employee. I think it's more rhetoric than reality, and I believe at the end of the day, we'll see that when this budget gets implemented.
So in simple terms, to Doug and Diane Tarhill, we're looking at state government sort of an atrophy, a shrinkage, but not cut off, as we're hearing.
No, and I just had a meeting with Cultural Affairs today. There was the doom and gloom that historic sites were all going to be eliminated or shut down. I was told this morning by the Secretary that not a single historic site will be shut down. They'll do some work on the opening hours and those sorts of things, but we're going to continue to run.
The sales tax, you're not going to renew it. You're not going to propose anything new in that regard. $800 million going into the private sector, or at least not coming to state government. What does it mean for North Carolina that you achieve that?
I think it means that some $800 million is going to enter the private sector. It's going to create jobs. It's going to provide people with more money to pay their bills. The argument has been it's just a penny, but it's not a penny. I've consistently said it is $860 million. And if it's just a penny, then why keep it on the list? If the same argument could be used, all this money for spending, then you have to realize it's going to go somewhere, and the pockets of North Carolinians is the best and most productive place for it to be.
And for those same folks that voted for lower taxes, fiscal responsibility, they also like to have government services. What can they expect in terms of some of the services they've come to enjoy in the past during better economic times?
I think that we'll have to see. I think for the most part, most of the core services that most people who believe in limited government, who believe in free markets, I think they're probably going to find that they're right-sized.
What does that mean to right-size?
It means that you should never take out of the pockets of a citizen any more money than is absolutely necessary to provide the core functions of government. And what we think we've done in this budget, to the very large extent, is just that. Will there be some things that we'll have to come back and look at and attenuate? Absolutely. But we're not afraid to admit that when we're making such a historic change here, it's the largest tax decrease in the history of at least anybody who's served in the legislature today, and that's 32 years. Then, of course, when you're doing something that sweeping, there may be a few things that we have to come back and adjust. We're not afraid to come back and do that. On the whole, I think that this is an extraordinary budget. It's going to have a positive impact on job creation. It's not going to have a significant negative impact on the service that the state provides its citizens.
Thank you, Speaker.